As we're all aware by now, the PSUV, the Popular Socialist Party in Venezuela, has lost the election for the National Assembly. Now, this does not mean that Nicolas Maduro is no longer the president. It just means that they no longer control the National Assembly. They managed to get 46 seats, while the official US-backed opposition gained 99 seats. That means it's about 74% of the country actually voted. That means about 13.5 million people in total, which would be about 6 million who voted for the Chavistas, while 7.5 voted for the opposition. With these numbers in about the National Assembly, it means that the opposition has a simple majority. Now, what does that mean? Beyond passing legislation and being able to block any of the president's legislative initiatives, the Assembly has a number of specific powers outlined in Article 187, including approving the budget, initiating impeachment proceedings, and most government officials, including ministers and vice president, but not the president, who can only be removed through a recall referendum, and appointing the members of the electoral, judicial, and prosecutorial branches of the government. Among others, it also has the power to authorize foreign and domestic military action and to authorize the president to leave the national territory for more than 5 days. So it's not as bad as some people think. This isn't like the total complete end of the Bolivarian Revolution, but this is certainly a big step towards that. A great deal of government power has been lost to the opposition. Now, of course, Nicolas Maduro was not without comment after his defeat. The struggle for socialism is just beginning. We are experts in starting over. We came from the streets. We are the people of difficulties. A new stage of revolution must arrive, with leadership from the base, a profound revolution of self-sustainable productivity. Now, despite actually winning the election, winning the majority of seats, the official opposition, Enrique Capriles, actually is still trying to claim misconduct by the government. Essentially, what happened was, even when the time frame for which to vote, which was about 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., officially closed, the polls were kept open for people who were still stuck in line so that they could continue to vote. So they kept the polls open longer than they normally would so that everybody could get in to vote. Now, in some places, everybody had already voted, so the place was just empty. But by law, because the voting period was still open, the places were sitting there empty. He took to the media and tried to claim that the government was using Article 121 of the Electoral Process Law, which keeps it open longer if necessary, that they were trying to sneak ballots through. We demand that these places be closed because there's no one there voting. But by law, it has to remain open so that everybody can get in to vote. So his complaint is nothing more than fluff, trying to make it look like the government was doing something that it shouldn't be doing, when it most certainly wasn't. Now, what this really means here, with these power of the assembly, very clearly what is outlined there is everything the opposition needs to sabotage everything the Bolivarian government can do. Essentially now, with a majority, they have the ability to shut down every single thing that Nicolas Maduro puts through to try to help people. If he comes up with a new program, they can kibosh it. If he comes up with a new piece of legislation, they'll destroy it. They can even tamper with the budget and outright reject it in making sure that it can't pass. In other words, all the sabotage that we've seen so far, just from the economic, from bosses, from companies themselves, well, it's going to get a hell of a lot of assistance from people inside the government that are going to be able to sabotage legislation and sabotage any efforts by the government to take care of these external efforts that are being used to wreck the country. So that while it's not the doomsday for the Bolivarian Revolution, I would consider it a severe blow to it. The question now remains, whose fault is this? I place blame for this directly, primarily on Hugo Chavez himself. Because he had insisted on this 21st century socialist line where you come through by democratic measures, you come through by bourgeois electoral systems, this defeat has been handed. Had this not been accepted, had radical action to just take the means of production away from the bourgeoisie, we would have had a real revolution, and Venezuela would not be in this position right now. I also lay blame in the hands of Nicolas Maduro, who actually was a communist even before he came to power. Hugo Chavez just claimed to be a socialist. Nicolas Maduro actually was a Communist Party member. He was a communist. And then he didn't follow up. So he knows better than to allow this to happen. And thirdly, and least of all, I blame the Socialist Party, the Popular Socialist Party itself, because they should know better. They should have insisted that he take outright power. But that's not what happened. They wanted to go the bourgeois democratic route, and now this severe blow has been dealt, along with all the bits of the acts of sabotage that have thrown against the country since then. However, there is one thing that could be done. However, I sincerely doubt the government would be willing to do it. The popular militias, the workers and peasants that had been set up during the years of Maduro and Chavez, are still incredibly loyal to the Popular Socialist Party. They're very loyal to the things that have been achieved by the Bolivarian struggle. These militias could, if ordered to, carry out an actual revolution. They could serve as a military vanguard party to throw out the opposition, throw them in jail, throw them in a gulag, throw them out of the country, whatever. This is still a possibility. They could order this to happen. So do I really believe that they're just going to send their own, the militias in there? I don't think they will, because they've made it very clear that they're not willing to go to these lengths. I mean, basically, the US-backed terrorists can come in the country, start killing people, and they won't do anything back, because they want to stay within the confines of bourgeois legality, when clearly their opponents are not doing the same thing. And one more point I really want to make is the oil politics in the situation. A lot of what has devastated the country has been the dropping oil price, which I'm more than certain was manipulated by the world market, particularly at the behest of the United States, in order to weaken the Bolivarian government, because they are absolutely dependent on oil revenues. And these lower prices per barrel have been hammering Venezuela, and has caused them to get rid of a lot of things that they can now no longer afford because of the drop in the price of oil. So once again, an economic war is being used against the government, because they didn't go through and carry out a full revolution. What's truly infuriating about this is that they had a chance to do it. I mean, they got their guy elected to the president of the country and kept him there for more than a decade. They've had ample opportunity to just say to hell with this and actually carry out a full-on revolution. But they refused to do so. They keep wanting to try to do this through a democratic means. And we have yet to see them actually transcend beyond anything more than what would be considered social democracy. We haven't yet actually seen any socialism by the Bolivarian government, because they haven't stepped through to do that. And that's what's really infuriating here, is that they've had the opportunity to do it, but they didn't take it. And now they've been dealt this big blow that could knock down the entire thing. This, I've said it so many times, and so many people have said it before me. This is why you don't do reforms. You do revolution. And this is what ends up happening when you do those reforms and not revolution. Maduro, Popular Socialist Party, if by some miracle you actually saw this, please go do a revolution. Go jail the bourgeoisie, expropriate all their stuff, and actually create socialism. You really, really need it now. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of them, then head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you can go to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media.